Hey guys, how's it going today? I hope you're having a wonderful one, and I wanted to give you my spoiler-free review of Aftermath Life Debt, the second book in the Aftermath trilogy by Chuck Wendig. This book came out, Lord, I can't even remember, probably about 8 or 9 months ago. I'll have to look that up now. Oh well. But this is definitely an improvement over the first book in terms of actual quality. Um, in my previous videos that I released earlier on this week of my spoiler free and my spoiler review of the first book, I said that that book was not necessarily a good book, but it was a fun book in that I still had a lot of fun reading it, but there were some plot holes and it was a little slow in some ways, and the characters were brand new, so it was kind of difficult to really get your hooks into them and be emotionally invested in what was going to happen to them. But I think that Chuck Wendig is doing a very good job of giving us a traditional trilogy archetype. I mean, you can see this in Star Wars, in the Hunger Games, and Lord of the Rings, so on and so forth. The traditional archetype of a trilogy is spectacle and introduction of characters, spectacle to get its hooks into you, to make you interested in what's going on, i.e., mm, you know, massive starship fights and uh, pole vaulting from rooftop to a ship, to corpse surfing or corpse skiing, to whatever, and also introducing those characters in order to set them up for the second part. The second part needs to be primarily character growth, character arcs coming to a peak, to be watching characters bounce back and forth and go all over the place and figure out where they are, both for themselves as characters and for us to understand where they're coming from and why they think the way they do and why they act the way they do. Uh, Almost all the character growths in this book are done very, very well. I wasn't a huge fan of Nora, but Temmin's, I loved Jazz's stuff. I love Sinjir as always, because Sinjir, be still my beating heart. I love Sinjir so much. He's just so cynical and beautiful, and I identify with him incredibly. And it's just, I love Sinjir. Um, Ray Sloan, Grand Admiral Ray Sloan now, she is, she's probably, she's almost like this canon's Pelion, Captain Pelion, Admiral Pelion, Grand Admiral Pelion from the old EU or Legends, depending on what you want to call it. She does, I loved Ray Sloan in this. She's not quite as good, morally good as Pelion, but you can empathize with her. You can understand why she's an Imperial supporter and why she loves the Empire so much and why she's so desperate to keep the Empire going and why she's so desperate to keep control of the Empire from another character that is in this book. Uh, Overall, I definitely enjoyed this book. I mean, it's better. I hands down, it is a better book than the first book. It's very, very good at building these characters up, and I'm really interested in seeing where most of these characters, at least, are going to go in Empire's End, which comes out in 10 days, it looks like. Yeah, February 21st. I'm recording this on the 11th. So, yeah, I'm definitely really hyped up for Aftermath Empire's End. I'm really looking forward to getting to see the actual Battle of Jakku and what happened and why the final stand of the Empire was over a barren desert rock planet. I just don't get that. I don't know, something about Star Wars having a loving relationship with this fulcrum planet always being a desert. Tatooine and Jakku, obviously. I'm, yeah, I think that this book was definitely better constructed. I don't think that the spectacle wasn't there for me, which kind of disappointed me. I said in my previous videos for Aftermath that I really love spectacle. I'm big on the whole visualizations, or rather the description of visualizations in books. I like having that feeling of, yeah, do it. And there's really only one of those in this particular um, book. There's no nutty action scenes in this, really, except for maybe at the very beginning of the book. But there's definitely not quite as much spectacle in this, but there's tons of more character development and tons of more connective tissue, and you're starting to learn where the New Republic's coming from and how it's growing into what you don't see in TFA and what you do see in, say, Blood Wine, the Leia novel that takes place 6 years previous to TFA. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I've really got to say about it, at least in the spoiler-free review. I'm definitely going to be making a spoiler-filled review after this. I'm definitely going to be recording that directly after this, and then I'll start editing all of them, and hopefully I'll have them all up by tomorrow, Sunday morning. So thank you guys so much for your time, and as always, may the Force be with you.